It seems to be boxer dog day today. Hi, it's Diederik Gelderman here. A minute ago we were talking about Cooper, now we're talking about Ace. Now Ace has a similar problem to Cooper. If you remember, I said one of the problems Cooper had was that he was lame. Well, Ace has the same thing. He's also lame. And in the same joint, the stifle joint, when I walk him, you can see he's barely putting that leg on the ground. Come here, Ace. Come on, back to me. Back to me. So you can see he's barely putting that leg on the ground. And when I examine this leg, he's got a huge thickening on the inside of this stifle, or knee, whatever you like to call it, and the same on the left leg. And when I flex and extend it, he's really painful, as you can see. And I can also get what's called a drawer, G-R-A-W-E-R, a drawer movement. So a drawer movement is when I hold the femur still and grab the tibia, and I can move those two pieces of bone independently. I can move them like that, which you should not be able to do with a normal knee. So what this tells us is that Ace has a cruciate injury. He's ruptured or is in the process of rupturing or tearing his ACL or his anterior cruciate ligament. The bad news for this guy is that he's got the same problem on the left leg, but he can't limp on the left leg because his right leg's worse. So he's got the same problem in both legs. The right leg is more advanced or more serious. The left leg is less advanced. So he's 4 years old. So he's got another 10 years of life ahead of him. He's here today so that we can take some x-rays and plan out a plan of attack for him. And there's a number of options with these guys. Conservative treatment, which means no surgery, not something I'd recommend for him. He's far too big and far too active. And then there's 2 or 3 different surgeries we can do. So we're about to take some x-rays, and once those x-rays are done, we'll put them on the viewer, and I'll show those x-rays and we can have a talk about the plan of attack for Ace. So I'll see you again shortly. So here we are taking some x-rays of Ace's back legs. And when we take x-rays, we always take at least 2 views, and the views need to be 90 degrees apart. So at the moment he's positioned so we take his right stifle or right knee, and this is called a lateral x-ray. So once we've taken this, we'll lie him in a different way, and we'll organise to shoot from the back through to the front, so that we look at every joint that we x-ray, every part of a dog we x-ray, always 2 views. So I've already done his left leg, and it shows that there is some damage to the left cruciate. We're doing his right leg now, which is the one that he's in here for. And as soon as we have that done, I'll catch up with you on the viewer and show you what shows up on the x-ray. So I'll see you then. We've just finished taking Ace's x-rays, and we've got a side-on view of each leg and a front-to-back view of each leg. As you can see, this is the right leg and it's the front-to-back view. It's very hard to show you these changes through a video, but let me show you some of the things that are most obvious. So if we have a look here, there's a little lump there. That's a bone spur. If you have a really careful look in here, you'll see a few white dots through there. And they're bone spurs as well. There's another bone spur sitting up on the outside. Now this edge here is very roughened. So this is severe arthritis. You can also see that the 2 bones here are closer together than the 2 bones there. So the disc that's in there separating the 2 bones, or the meniscus, whatever you like to call it, has been damaged. So this is a very arthritic joint. Let me bring up another x-ray for you. So this is Ace's right leg, and this is the side-on view, and it's much easier to see the changes here. These 2 holes shouldn't be here, neither should this. That's quite arthritic there. This is the kneecap. It should have a nice round edge here when it's quite pointed and spurred. This is the femur coming down. That area you can see is all moth-eaten and spurred. There's a massive number of changes. There's, as I said, that's where the cruciate ligament attaches, and that's all spurred because it's torn away there. So this joint is severely arthritic. The left leg isn't as bad, but there are significant changes in that leg as well. So this afternoon I'm going to have a talk to Ace's owner, and we're going to decide on a treatment plan for Ace. And essentially there's three options as to how we can treat Ace. One is conservative treatment. So conservative treatment means anti-inflammatories, glucosamine, chondroitin, turmeric, all those sorts of things, and rest. For a large breed dog like him, especially a very active, relatively young, 4 or 5-year-old dog like him, I wouldn't be doing that at all. Over the next 10 years, he'll become quite arthritic and quite be very hard for him to exercise. If he was a Chihuahua or a dog under about 7, 8, 10 kilos, that'd be a perfectly acceptable solution. Now, the other options are surgical options. I said there were three, and so the two other options are surgical option, and I'll put it very simply as in there's an older style of surgery. When I graduated in the early 70s, and that surgery has been around since the 1960s. We still use it today. It's still quite effective, but there are some very, very much better solutions around. So the older style surgery, again, not what I would do on my dog. It will work, but it won't make his legs, perfect. So it certainly is an option, but my preference would be one of the newer surgeries, and these are much more likely to result in a perfect end result, with him being able to jump tall buildings in a single bound again and not have arthritic change, etc., etc. The difference between the older and the newest surgeries is very simple. It's cost. And it used to be that for the newer surgeries, you used to have to go to the specialist centre in Sydney or Canberra, but no, we do those surgeries in-house here. I've done them since they first were developed in around about 1999, 2000. So I'll have a talk to the owner this afternoon, and we've got to remember he's got 2 legs to fix, so they can't be done at the same time. And so we'll have a talk and see what option she comes up with. I'll fill you in on Ace's future plans and what we're going to do with him in one of the next videos. See you next time.